discipline is what takes you from here to here, not motivation. Yo, what's happening, Nate?
What is up?
Alrighty, dude. So I got a question for you today, because one of the things that we get posed a lot is like, how do you stay motivated? I personally don't think that motivation is the best tool to get the job done. I'm pretty sure you're in a similar position as me.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about those tools that we have available to us that'll ultimately get the job done better, more efficiently, where motivation probably lets us down more often than not.
Yeah. Yeah, when I first started, motivation, I used it a lot. You know, I had all the quotes, all the books, the posters that got me on motivation, and it was always, it would die out sooner or later.
Always. It's fleeting.
Yeah, you're
Super
right.
fleeting.
It's absolutely fleeting. So I think it does have its place, especially when guys are starting their fitness journey, right? Because they get motivated by watching other guys succeed and get the results. But, you know, there came a time for me where I realized I need more routines, because there was days that I didn't want to eat right, and there were days that I didn't want to work out. And I started to really associate them with, they're more feeling based as opposed to routine based, if that makes sense.
Because let's be honest, more often than not, you don't feel like eating right, and you don't feel like training.
No.
I don't know about you, but for me, bro, when I'm like, oh man, you know what, would I rather slam a fucking burger from Five Guys or eat my meal prep? It's a no-brainer. I would fucking destroy that Five Guys burger all day, every day.
With bacon and cheese.
Bro, all of it. Bring it. Bring it all. Oh, all those toppings you list up there, put them all on as well. Yeah. And then put an extra 3 or 4 patties and more cheese. Don't be stingy on the fucking cheese. Load it up.
Yeah.
Versus my meal prep, it's a no-brainer. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I also know that I want to look in the mirror and respect the fucking guy looking back at me. And Byron 1.0 is the Five Guys Byron. And he was miserable. He hated life. He didn't like what he saw. So why would I replicate and repeat that behavior and reverse back to that guy when I know it doesn't serve me and I know that I hate that version of me? So it's like motivation didn't do that for me. There was something deeper, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the key. It's the key to consistency and longevity and sustainability is the routine.
Yeah, and like you say, of course, like the motivation, there's an aspect of that where it's like, okay, cool, like I saw a jacked guy and I wanted to look like that, maybe. I don't know, maybe that was the case for you, maybe it was, whatever. But it's like, okay, cool, I like the way that looks, I like the way he shows up, I like the energy that he gives off, I want that. And then you found out what it took. And the motivation quickly fucked off, right?
Oh yeah.
Really quickly. Because all of a sudden it's like, oh, you mean I can't eat Five Guys every day? I can't drink like a fish? I actually have to like look after myself? Shit. It's a lot more work than I thought. I thought I could just like go to the gym for an hour and be done.
Right. Now there's a sacrifice that actually comes in, that's involved in all of this. And, you know, for me, just, you know, touching on the motivation aspect again, I realized and this is going to be really weird. And kind of, anyway, for me, when I realized how much it was attached to feelings. You ever watch that movie Up? So this is a Pixar movie. The beginning part of it, every time, even till this day, makes me cry. I'm man enough to say I get all bawly when the wife's not there and all this. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But I realized that my feelings got manipulated by a movie. And it's not even real.
It's a fucking cartoon.
So motivation is so much about feelings, feeling like it, needing to always feel like it. And I realized that, you know what? I can't trust my feelings all the time.
Because they're fucking liars.
Yeah, a movie made me cry. A cartoon put me in tears. And that's when I started to really, okay, let's start to look at the routine, because the routine is, you know, that's why, and this is a whole nother subject, that a lot of companies want to replace people with robots because they just run the program. Doesn't matter how they feel, they just run the program. Now, it's not saying, you know, that I wanted to be robotic, I don't, but I need to have a routine, a plan that lets me, no matter how I feel, which is at least half the time I don't feel like working out, or when I was running all those days in a row, there's a lot of days I literally looked at my shoelaces for 10 minutes because I didn't feel like it.
Right.
But that's when the routine, the program takes over, and you do it anyway. And you try not to think about it too long, because that's when you start to negotiate 100%. All the reasons why you shouldn't do it.
Agreed. But then let's talk about off the back of that, where you had that negotiation and you were like, oh man, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this thing. And then you ended up doing it anyway. Like the feeling on the back end of that is a feeling of accomplishment, versus like the regret that comes with giving into that weakness. Two different things altogether. And then the spiral that inevitably happens thereafter as well, where it's like, oh, I don't feel like working out today. So you create some fucking scenario. Oh, it's the solar eclipse and I can't train legs. So fuck it, we're not going to go to the gym. Like the damage it has on your self-respect, your routine and all of that stuff is tenfold. It hurts more than just getting out of your way and going to the gym. Because once you're there, you're like, well, fuck it, I'm here. I might as well do the shit. And you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's shocking, that feeling that you get afterwards, even though you want to do it, you did it. It develops more trust in yourself. And you start finding extra gears.
Exactly.
And the extra gears are always hidden behind discipline. Sticking to your routine, sticking to the program, even though you don't feel like it.
And the discipline is the act of actually doing shit, versus motivation is like, I'm not very good with adjectives and nouns, but I know that an adjective is a doing word. And I think it's a noun that's the one where it's like, oh, it's just like fucking words, right?
Right. Person, place, or thing.
Something like that. Who cares? But at the end of the day, like, motivation is exactly whatever it's supposed to be. It's just this word that people get caught up on and hung up on that doesn't actually mean anything. It doesn't do you any favors. It's super short-lived. It's at best got a 5-minute shelf life before it's gone. Like, if you watch a YouTube clip that really hits you, like, in 5 minutes, you've forgotten about that shit. It's not there anymore. Like, that motivation, whatever it was, that juice that came through you, subsides just as fast.
Right.
Now it's about the discipline. Do I have what it takes to wake up at 4 o'clock every morning, or 3:30 every morning, be in the gym by 4? Do I have what it takes to turn up and do the job and be the man I want to be for my wife and my kids, etc.? Because if I can't even commit to doing the basic fundamental disciplines of what it means to be a man, which is to protect and provide, like, how the fuck can I possibly expect them to trust me and know that I have their best interests at heart? Like, if I can't run outside, rip a car door off and save my fucking daughter, what kind of father am I?
Right. Yeah.
I don't need motivation for that. Like, the motivation is that instant. It's like the adrenaline kicks in, the shit hits the fan. Now I have a choice. Do I act or do I not act? If I haven't built the fundamentals in the ground, like from the ground up, my daughter's life is at risk, and I'm going to watch her because I don't have what it takes to do the fucking job.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, motivation for me too, I always, when I depended on it too much, I always was so into having a guarantee that, hey, I feel motivated, and because I feel motivated, it's guaranteed I'm going to get an X result. And that's when I started to really get let down, because I realized motivation's not actually guaranteeing a result. There's going to be a lot of failure, and I needed a better tool to keep me going, even though those days that I would fail or not feel good or not want to do something, or if I go a little bit off track, I needed a better plan, and I couldn't keep, there's only so many podcasts and quotes that you can actually read until it doesn't work anymore. It starts to lose its effect, right? And so that's when I needed that routine, the discipline to just keep going no matter what's happening. I just keep making it happen.
So to put a bow on this entire conversation, motivation's a crock of shit. Your feelings are a fucking crock of shit. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, no one gives a fuck about how you feel. No one gives a fuck about how you're motivated. Like, you either did or you did not. You either do or you do not.
Yeah.
And if you are feeling driven and motivation driven, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make the cut.
Right.
Every single professional sportsman on the field that all of these fucking clowns watch all day and know more about the fucking guys on the field than they do about their own family and their own life. Like, those guys are on the field because they are dedicated. They are disciplined. They're not motivated. They do the work regardless of how they feel. Like, everyone fucking hates Tom Brady. The dude's done work for a long fucking time.
Yeah, he is.
Everyone hates LeBron James. The dude's done work for a long fucking time. That's why he's where he is and you are where you are.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty simple shit. This is not rocket science stuff. He's not more motivated than you. He's disciplined like a son of a bitch. Like Kobe Bryant, I watched a thing on him the other day. He's like, dude, I woke up at 4, like he was in the gym by 4 till 6. Then he went home and then he was back in the gym by 9 till 11 and then back home, and then he was back in the gym by 1 till 3 and then back in the gym by 7 till 9. Like, he did more work in a day than most people do in a fucking week. That's why he was the fucking Don.
Yeah.
It wasn't a motivation that got him out of bed and got him doing the fucking work. It was the discipline and the fact that he knew he had eyeballs on him and he wanted to set a legacy. If you need motivation to tell you to lose weight and you need me or you to shout down a fucking phone at you, you've got bigger problems than I think anyone actually realizes.
Yeah.
Because my motivation is looking in the fucking mirror. If I don't like the guy that's looking back at me, that's motivation enough. I don't need you to tell me, hey, Byron, maybe you should work out because you're looking a little bit chunky, bro. Or, hey, Byron, maybe you shouldn't eat that. Like, I just look at me and I'm like, do I like the way I'm showing up? Do I like the guy in the mirror? No? Fucking do something about it. That's not motivating. That's just discipline.
Yeah, and so it's almost like motivation is kind of the catalyst a little bit.
Sure.
Just slightly kind of gets the car rolling, but discipline is really the gas pedal. That's where you really make that change.
100%.
Where you can increase speed tremendously because there's only so much you're going to get from pushing a car.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like pushing a rope, right?
Right. But yeah, it's pushing a rope. Exactly.
But yeah, dude, these guys that come on and they're like, dude, I need someone to motivate me. No, you don't. You just need discipline. You're lazy, you lack discipline, and you just don't have like enough, I guess personal pride is probably the best way to put it. Because if you can't look in the mirror and say, the guy looking back at me is unacceptable or not what I want to see, that's all the motivation you need. You shouldn't need a YouTube video. You shouldn't need a fucking podcast or a quote. Yes, it's nice and sometimes it works, but discipline is what takes you from here to here, not motivation.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. That's the game changer, is when you can actually find those extra gears by just running the program, no matter how you feel. And it's just really feeling based. That's the problem with motivation mainly. It's not that not like all feelings are bad. You just can't rely on them all the time. You need to have a program that you can consistently run. You follow the blueprint. You may not feel like it. And again, personally me, half the time out of the week, don't feel like doing it, but I know it needs to get done. So it gets done.
Yeah. Dude, wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I don't want to wake up every day at 3:30 in the morning. We do it anyway.
Yeah.
We don't have an option.
Right.
It's part of who the fuck I am. It's what I have to do.
Yeah.
So I guess to put a bow on this whole conversation for you guys, I need you to think about whether you're internally or externally motivated. It's very easy to be externally motivated, but it's super fleeting. It's not going to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Ultimately, you need to rethink your strategy, have a little look at your routine, and understand what's working for you and what's working against you. Do more of that which is working for you, less of that is working against you. And ultimately, if the guy in the mirror is not someone that you respect, admire, adore, love, do something about it. That should be all the motivation you need.